brand new for 2021. What is the best HT, the best handheld radio, handy talkie, handheld transceiver, whichever one you want to call it? What is the best HT for ham radio under $150 coming into 2021? We're going to talk about it today.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the video series. My name is Jason. I'm KC5HWB, and on this channel we do reviews, news, and how-tos of many things that are new in amateur radio. So today we're going to be talking about something new coming into 2021. This is being recorded in January, and I kind of suspect that I'll do a revamped version of this video later on this year, because you never know what's coming next. You never know what's going to be released next. You never know what's going to be updated next. You never know what's coming. So you might see a couple versions of this video, but for January 2021 and coming into the first part of 2021 and the winter and eventually the spring, and we'll get into summer, what are the best HTs under $150? Now, I did a video last year that is still applicable to today. It has one model that was discontinued since that video was released, but you can find that right here about my opinions on the best HTs of 2020. And all of those, except for one, is still in production today and still a great choice for your first radio. But they range from like $25 up to like $550. So today we're just going to be talking about the best HT, probably for a new ham radio operator, or maybe for an additional radio for some of you. But under $150, we're going to put the price cap there today. And we're going to take a look at several different models, so I hope you'll stick around to the end. Let's go. So just because I like to do fun stuff, I'm going to go ahead and kind of switch to that view for the heck of it. Hey, I see you right there. And so these are some of the radios we're going to be talking about today, and that's the kit that's on kit.co under my call sign, kit.co/KC5HWB. You can find a listing of all of the radios we're going to talk about today, and it will be conglomerated and combined of radios from Amazon, Buy Two-Way Radios, Gigaparts, and maybe one or two other websites. So let's get started today. Okay, the first one I'm going to tell you about today, we're going to just start with the Baofeng. It's called Baofeng in Texas. The Baofeng UV82. Now, I've talked about this one before, and that's this dude right here. This is a dual band HT. You can get it in a 5-watt version. You can get it in an 8-watt version. You can get it in a tri-band version. I don't particularly care for the tri-band version. I did a video about the tri-band version of the UV. It's called the UV82X3. And I didn't particularly care for the tri-band version. But the dual band version is fairly solid. It's got a bigger battery. It's got a little bit more rugged feel to it. And from my experience, it's got a little bit better receive capability. Now, does it have a better receiver? Maybe, maybe not. It does have a better antenna. And I've set it next to a UV5R before, and I've done comparison videos about listening to repeaters. And I just found that this one heard a little bit better. But you know what? Results on that can vary. Regardless of what it is, this radio at the time of this recording is only about $25 on Amazon. It holds 128 channels. It comes with a 1800 milliamp hour battery, and it is pretty kind of like a throwaway radio. This is something that I've got 2 or 3 of these in my hunting lease that I keep out there in my RV trailer. And this is something that if I take it out to the field and it gets lost, or it gets run over by a truck, or it gets dropped in the lake, I don't care. I'm not risking my $320 Yaesu FT3D. I'm not risking my $500 Kenwood D74 or some kind of more expensive HT. So this is a good knock-around radio. If you start out with this one, I suggest that you just keep in mind that you're going to want to upgrade at some point, because this is not an end-all be-all radio that you're going to want to be carrying around for a bunch of years, but it is a good starter point. It is a good knock-around, like a secondary, like a backup radio to keep in a backpack, to keep it at a hunting lease or something like that. And they work well for what they are, and for $25, you can hardly go wrong. We're going to come over here to the next one, which is the TYT UV88. Now, this guy's only about $30 at Buy Two-Way Radios, and they got a big red sign up there that says that it's now supported with Chirp. I actually did this is this radio right here. I've done a video recorded about an unboxing and go through the menus of this radio, which will probably post before the video you're seeing right now. keep stuff in the pipe and I post stuff at weird times sometimes. But this is the UV88 radio. This is a TYT dual band radio that is basically the same thing as their MDUV380 without the DMR. It's got the look and feel of the MDUV380, but it does not have DMR. It's analog only. It's $30 at Buy Two Way Radios. You can now program it with Chirp. It holds about 200 channels, and for $30, it's got the sound quality that I have done compared to some other radios around that range, basically Bofang radios, is the TYT is much better. I sat here and you'll see in the video I recorded with this one, I sat here and I keyed up the Hearst Amateur Radio Club repeater from inside the shack. And it's probably a good 8 or 10 miles that way as the crow flies, but it's over the top of a hill. And it came back to me. It was scratchy, but it came back to me, and I've never been able to do that with like a UV82 or a UV5R radio. So it's definitely hearing better. Now, does it have a better receiver? I mean, I haven't put it on a spectrum analyzer, so I don't know if it has a better receiver, but it does tend to hear better than some of its competitors around that same price range. Next, we're going to go to the TH350 tri-band radio from TYT. I included this one because why the heck not? It is under $150, but it's a tri-band. You can see the two side by side right here. This is the UV88 that we just talked about, and this is the UV TH350. I'm sorry, I keep calling it UV. This is a UV for UHF VHF. This is a TH350. And it comes with the longer Nagoya antenna, and it's a little bit bigger, but it's a tri-band radio. And in my best tri-band HT video that I did a while back, I talked about how this is basically the only one that does a 3 display on the screen. So you can monitor 220, 2 meters, and 440 all at the same time on the display. And coming in at only $70, you know, it fits the category for HT's under $150. So if you think 220 is something that you might want to get into one day, it's a good band. It's a low noise floor band, at least here in DFW it is. We can hit repeaters from all over the Metroplex, from pretty much anywhere else in the Metroplex, because the noise floor on 220 is so great. I do a lot of videos about 220 radios. I really like that band. So if it's something that you think you might want to get into later, then coming in at $69.99 at buytwowayradios.com, this one certainly fits the bill for HTs under $150, and it gives you that extra band, which none of the other ones do. Switching gears for a second, we're going to talk about a couple of Yaesu radios. This is the Yaesu FT4XR, which is a 5-watt dual band HT. And this is a Yaesu FT65R, which is also a 5-watt dual band HT. The FT4XR comes in at $79.95 at Gigaparts, and the Yaesu FT65R comes in at $84.95 at Gigaparts. Now, Yaesu is a Japanese company. These other radios that we're talking about today are all Chinese made, regardless of what you feel about that. The Chinese companies really kind of have the HT market not really cornered right now. But I've been having a lot of remarks about some of the Chinese videos I've been put up, and people are asking, where can I buy an American-made HT? And you know what? I think that is a very good question. The answer is you can't. There is no such thing as an American-made HT right now. Not even Motorola makes their stuff in America. Some of their stuff is made in Malaysia. Some of it's made in Israel, but it's definitely made outside of the USA. Yaesu is a Japanese company, and they have a pretty darn good HT presence in the amateur radio community right now. Most of their HTs, they have a wide range of HTs. They have they range from basically the $70 range all the way up to about $350 for their top of the line FT3D radio, and they do a good job of keeping options out there for handheld transceivers, handy talkies in the amateur radio market. Generally speaking, your Yaesus are going to be a better quality than your Baofangs or your TYT radios. Is that a 100% rule? No, I really don't think it is, because when I did my review of this FT65 a while back, I showed clearly, plain as day, it said on the Yaesu box, it says made in China. Now, Yaesu's a Japanese company, but I kind of get the feeling they're kind of contracting some of their lower end models out to China because some of their stuff is made in China. However, after I posted that video, several commenters came by and said, dude, I've got the same radio and mine clearly says made in Japan. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I showed you the box. I showed you the stamp on the box. It says made in China on my FT65R box. Maybe they make them in both places. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But regardless of where that one model is made, Yaesu is a Japanese company, and they have Japanese roots, and they have a higher quality product than what you're going to find in most Chinese products for the amateur radio market. So if you want something that's a little bit better, a little bit more tried and true, a much better support system, because there's a lot of U.S. sellers that sell Yaesu products. You can find U.S. sellers to sell Baofeng and Ochang and TYT products. They're kind of few and far between. It kind of depends on where you're going, but most everyone in the USA, ham radio vendor, ham radio retailer sells Yaesu products. So you're going to be able to get much better support most days from Yaesu products than you could from a Chinese product, especially something you bought off Amazon. So just consider that. Consider what you want. If you have questions about it, if you think you might need support for it later, if you want to take advantage of the warranty, Yaesu provides a much better warranty than the Chinese stuff does. So that's all some stuff to take into consideration. The FT4XR comes in at $79.95 at the time of this recording, and the FT65R comes in at $84.95 at the time of this recording. And you can get extended warranties through Gigaparts at the drop-down menu right here. And you could pretty much do that on all their products. So Yaesu makes a great product, and these two HTs are definitely making the list of best HTs of under $150 today. Hey, if you don't mind, if you're finding value in this episode, click that thumbs up on the video for me because it does help with the YouTube stats. Let's get back to it. Going up the price list, because we're starting at the lowest and we're going up to the highest, the TYT MD UV380 dual band DMR UHF VHF HT is on Amazon today for about $90. Now, something I've said in videos past, check prices on stuff because prices fluctuate. So if you're watching this video when it premieres, or if you're watching this video 6 months after the fact, prices might have changed. So you can come back and comment and say, well, you said this radio was this price, but it's actually this. Well, yeah, at the time of the recording, it was the price I said, but that doesn't mean it's going to be that price for the next 12 years. So check prices, check Amazon, check Gigaparts, check RNL.com, check whatever radio retailer you are used to buying from, and compare prices before you pull the trigger on something. But today, the MD-UV380 is $90 on Amazon, and this is a great radio because now you're getting into some of the digital stuff. Now you've got a full dual band 3,000 channel radio that will do UHF and VHF analog, and also UHF and VHF DMR. So if you ever want to get into DMR, if you want to carry one radio to do all your analog stuff and all your DMR stuff, this might be a great radio for you. It is one of the original, it's not the original, but it's one of the earlier models of dual band DMR HTs in the world today. At the time of this recording, you cannot get a dual band DMR handheld radio. You can't even get a dual band DMR mobile radio, actually. You can't get a dual band DMR radio outside of China. The commercial manufacturers who make DMR radios don't make dual bands. They make mono bands because that's generally what most commercial agencies or public safety offices have licenses for one band, usually like 440, sometimes 900 megahertz, 800, 900 megahertz. But you usually can't get a dual band VHF and UHF DMR radio outside of China right now. There's quite a few of them that are coming out of China, but it's not something that there's a lot of options for out there. I get that question a lot. Say, well, where can I get a dual band DMR radio that's not made in China? I'm like, you can't. You can't. Not right now. But the TYT UV380 was one of the first, and its big brother, the UV390, which is right here, and it's $140 on Amazon right now. At the time of this recording, I couldn't find either one of these radios on a U.S. seller's website. Most of them that sell them show out of stock right now, so they'll probably get more stock in later. So you might check your U.S. seller's website before going to Amazon, which things are a little bit inflated on Amazon sometimes anyway. So the UV380 is about $90, and the UV390 is about $140. This is my UV390 right here. This radio, the UV380 and 390 are the same exact radio internally. They take the same programming cable, the same software, and the same code plug. The difference is that the 390 has an IP67 rated case. It is a little bit more rugged. It's waterproof, or water resistant at least, and it's going to be a little bit more durable to take out into the field. But both of these radios will hold about 3,000 channels. They will do DMR and analog, and they are dual band. So if DMR is something that you're interested in, you're like, well, I only want to buy one radio, then one of these might be the answer for you. Or if it's something you think you might get into at a later date, go ahead and pull the trigger right now if this is in your price range. Now we're going to go to the Ochang UV D1P, which is $99. This is Ochang's another model of Chinese radio, and quite frankly, most everything that Ochang makes is pretty darn good as far as the Chinese market goes. I would put them above, surely above Baofeng on most of their HTs. I would put them above TYT on their analog HTs. TYT does a better job of their DMR HTs. Ochang does have some DMR HTs, which are up and coming, but are not quite as popular as the TYTs yet. TYT was in the market first. That's one reason why. But the Ochang UV-D1P was the first ever Chinese radio I ever bought. I bought it from Main Trading Company in 2012, I think it was. And I still have it today. I don't really use it that much anymore because I've got so many other radios, but I still have it today. I powered it up the other day. It still works. It still hits the repeaters. And it's great. And it's like 8 years old at the time of this recording. So this one right here is in stock at buytwowayradios.com for $99. It holds, it's 4 watts on UHF, 5 watts on VHF. It holds 128 channels, but you can also choose a frequency range. This one you can get in 2 meters and 220 as a dual band, or you can get it in 2 meters and 440 as a dual band. So you got a little bit more options with it there. But at $99, it certainly fits into our category today. If we move up here to its big brother is the KGUV 7D. And the 7D is a little bit newer design, a little bit more user-friendly feel to it. My UV7D is right here. A little bit wider in its casing this way. A little bit newer of a design. The 7D has not been out for as long as the UV-D1P, but essentially they almost look like the same radio. They're not much difference, but one thing I will say is that this one is a 7-watt radio, 7 watts on 2 meters VHF, and it's usually about, they're saying 5 watts on the alternate band, but this one comes in 3 different options. This one you can do a 2 meters and 220, you can do a 2 meters and 6 meters, or you can do 2 meters and 70 centimeters, which is 440. So if you're interested in a dual band radio that's not just straight up 2 meters 440, you can get this one in 2 meters 220, and you can get this one in 2 meters and 6 meters. If you got some 6 meter FM repeaters near you, this might be a good option. And at $119, it certainly fits into our category today. This is the last one we'll talk about, and this is actually one of my favorite radios right now. I've still got this one. It is the UV8 Delta from Ochang, and it has a lot of extras on it that you don't get on some of the others. The first thing it has, this sucker holds 999 memory channels. Okay, so that's one thing that it has. Pretty much all of these other ones are rated somewhere between 128 and 200 channels. This one holds 999 channels. It comes with a 2600 milliamp hour extended battery, which makes it like literally I can turn this thing on and set it on my desk and monitor a local repeater for about 4 or 5 days before it needs a charge again. Now, if I key it up, it won't sit on that belt clip. If I key it up and talk on one of the repeaters, obviously it doesn't do as well. Because you're keying up, you're using more battery life, so it's not going to last quite as long. But it'll monitor for about 4 or 5 days with just listening to the repeater. And it is one of my favorite radios to date because it's got such a large capacity of channels. It's very versatile. You can get, it's got a very large screen on it. That's got a color. It's got a color display, much larger screen than anything else we've talked about today. Probably. Yeah, it's even larger than the TYT MD UV 380 and 390 screens. But it's got a larger channel capacity. It's just analog. It has a big battery that comes with it, and I've had mine for probably about 4 years. I did a review on it when the channel was very, very new, and I've always liked that radio, and it works well, and it's been a solid performer over the last several years that I've had it. Its big brother, the UV9 Delta, has several different flavors, but those are over the $150 price range. Those are around the $170, $180 price range, $180 price range. So we're not going to talk about those today. But if you're looking for something that's got a great screen on it, It's got a really large battery on it and just has a solid feel to it. You know, this one's definitely got a solid feel to it as well. I've got an extended antenna on it right there. So it's just a good performer, and it's only $109 at Buy Two Radios today, and it's one of the top ones, I would say, because Ochang, like I said earlier, Ochang makes a great product. They have a wider line of radios than some of the other Chinese manufacturers, and they're just more tried and true. They've been around a little bit. Actually, when I bought my first UVD1P, there was no such thing as Baofeng in the USA at that point. The Ochang radios were actually out first, and the Baofengs came in at like 1/3 of the price, and that's why the Baofengs are so popular. But nothing, I'm not saying anything good or bad about that. I'm just saying that's how it happened here. So, in my opinion, the Ochangs are some of the highest quality Chinese radios on the market that you can get for dual band analog. And they have several options that will add 220, 6 meters, and a couple of other things to them. Higher capacity batteries, programmable with chirp, and some other neat features like that. So, guys, put your comments below. Let me know what you think. If you think I should have included something. Okay, I looked at the FT70R. It is over $150 at the time of this recording. I looked at the FT60R. It's also about $155, $159 at the time of this recording. So there are some others out there. I was trying to stay underneath the $150 range today. So let me know what you think about the lineup below. Check the links in the description below. And thanks for watching.